Hi guys, Jackie M here. How you doing? Let me just fix up Facebook quickly. Live, making low-carb Indonesian soup. Asian kitchen. Low-carb Indonesian soup. Okay, go live. And let's hop onto Facebook here. And if you're watching, hi guys, just say hello. Connect your Google account to find people you know on Periscope. Should I? No, I won't do that. Okay, close and reopen your browser window. Fine. So Facebook is not playing. Facebook. Just say hello. Let me know where you're watching from, guys. Thanks for joining. Okay. And I'll just share on Google as well. Oh yeah, YouTube. Live dashboard, YouTube. How satisfied are you with live streaming on YouTube? Well, technically it works fine, but from an engagement perspective, it kind of sucks. Facebook. Let's scroll down. Where is my share? Facebook. Okay, here we go. Share. On the page you manage, share on your timeline. Making Indonesian soup, Soto, low-carb version. Post. And let's hop over to Google Plus. Making Indonesian soup, Soto, low-carb version. Live. Live Asian kitchen, live Asian kitchen. And URL is youtube.com/live/Jackie M. Post. Pretty sure that's what it is. Post shared. Channel does not exist. Okay, nope, apparently not. Edit. Post. Delete live/C/Jackie M. Save. See Jackie M. Is that the one? Nope, apparently not. No. Well, let me just. Where's my YouTube channel? Live dashboard. Come on, YouTube. Show me the share URL. youtube.com/C/JackieM/live. Okay, edit. C/Jackie M/live. Okay, save. youtube.com/cjackiem live. All right, let's double check, make sure it's right this time. cjackiem live. Right, okay, cool. Hi guys, just say hello wherever you're watching. I'm trying to monitor the chats, which makes it a little bit tricky when you're streaming across a number of different platforms. And thanks for joining me. Let's pull up Twitch. Okay, so let me just refresh Twitch. As you would know, I push this out across a number of different platforms. Most of the time, not always, but my primary platform is Twitch. You can find me there at twitch.tv/JackieMFood, right? Otherwise, just go to www.jackiem.live, L-I-V-E. That will take you to the same page. And that's where basically I stream from. But I also, like I say, oftentimes, not always, oftentimes I push it out across to Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope as well. A couple of different places on Facebook. But I will try and keep an eye out for your messages. Too many streams, apologies, then catch your statements, assuming I'm idling. Assume I'm idling, gotcha. Thanks, Whiskey. How you doing? Yeah, so this is a big week because we have one more of the Ziegler and Brown barbecue units to give away. I'm going to do it at my next live stream, not today, all right? So you can chill out now. But if you're in Australia and you're watching this, you need to follow me on Twitch because there's the whole point of me negotiating these giveaways with my sponsors. Follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/JackieMFood, and it doesn't cost you anything to follow. Just hit, if you're watching from a mobile device, just click the heart icon, right? Otherwise, just click follow if you're watching from a desktop. That will let you follow me and catch all my free cooking lessons, essentially is what this is. Before I go on any further, shout out to Lenovo Australia for the laptop I use for my live streaming and for monitoring all my chats as well. And also, I was going to say, if you don't know who I am, my name is Jackie M, and I live stream cooking across the week in, week out. And I do primarily Southeast Asian cooking, and I'm on this low carb drive at the moment, so that's why you see a lot of my recipes say low carb. Hey Disco, how you doing? Hey Agent Knight, how you doing? Yeah, so thanks for joining me, guys. So today I'm going to have a go at making Indonesian Soto, all right? Soto is usually actually served with compressed rice, but because I'm going low carb, we're skipping the rice. That's why I'm reticent to call this actually outright Indonesian Soto, all right? I'm just calling it Indonesian soup, which is fundamentally what it is. What I've got here, you've heard me talk all the time about all this like chicken stock left over from my business. This is what it looks like, okay? It's actually, look, this is a frozen block of chicken stock concentrate, and I just realized I need to turn the other light on. Give me a second. Okay, it's actually, you know, it's been so hot in Sydney forever actually. We've got such beautiful weather, but it decided to rain today. It started raining last night actually, so it's really quite miserable. And if you're from Sydney and you're used to beautiful weather, the rain kind of like, it's like wears you down. I don't know how Melbourne people live with like this kind of rain. It's really painful. Okay, so this, you see, is a really big heavy block of chicken concentrate, all right? And the way this is generated is that I essentially sous vide these chicken pieces in vacuum bags. I sous vide them for my business every Thursday. I do that at the markets, right? I sell food at a farmer's market. I cook char kway teow, which is a Malaysian stir-fried noodle dish, and one of the versions. I know in Malaysia you don't get char kway teow with chicken, but you know, because I live in Australia now, and Australians like their chicken, so I do a version with the char kway teow with chicken. All right, so I buy like a bunch of chicken, packed into vacuum bags, and I sous vide them at the market. And when you sous vide, it produces like juice. Okay, so this isn't actually chicken bone stock or anything like that. This is the juice produced by the chicken that I sous vide at the market. So it is concentrated chicken stock, all right? And this is what it looks like. It comes back, we bag it up at the end of the day, and I throw it in my freezer. So I've got this big freaking block which I'm struggling to kind of like break apart from the bag it's in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just start by like heating it up in my one of my cookers. All right, so this is my little tabletop steamer slash pot, right? And I'm going to throw this whole chunk in there, and I'm going to turn it on and just basically melt it to start with. Okay, melted form will be fine. I won't need all of it, but I'll use the rest of it for other recipes. But every week I get this big freaking bag of juice, and I hate throwing it out because this is like pure quality, like, you know, concentrated chicken stock. But my staff don't want to take it home with them either. Like once in a while, one might offer to take some home, and then they'll use it to make chicken rice, you know, for their family, or they'll use it to make soup, noodle soup, and all that. But yeah, most of the time they're like, oh, I've got no more room in my freezer and whatever, so I'm stuck with them. So I've got an entire freezer full of these kinds of like blocks of chicken stock, concentrate. John Matrix, oh my God, you did make it on time. How crazy is that? All right, so I know this looks a bit weird, but this is just basically the settled like bits of chicken, okay? Residual chicken, but this is my concentrated chicken stock, so I'm going to actually just cook it round the back here. So that's cooking. And the did you guys see that picture of the spider I posted on Discord? That's just this morning. Looks like a giant orange slice. What, the chicken juice? Yeah, no. You know, I have to figure out what to do with it long term, because like this is just going to keep accumulating. And you know, this household is just me and baby Noah, so we can't really go through that much chicken stock in a week. I need to do something commercial with it, but I'm still thinking through my options. All right, because we're still going low carb, right? I don't know if it's actually made any difference in my it'll be a total waste of time if after all that deprivation over the last few weeks, it turns out I don't lose any weight. But I've got these manky looking mushrooms. They're still okay. Okay, I might need to clean them up a little bit. So I'm going to use some of this in the soup, all right? But yeah, everyone talks about spiders in Australia and that sort of stuff. I got a big giant spider in my bathroom at the moment, and I don't know what to do with it, you know. I'm just going to peel off some of the outer layer because it looks a little bit manky. Now, this Soto, Indonesian Soto, it's not, to be honest, I've had it like maybe once or twice. It's not something that like I eat all the time, all right? But it's just that, you know, apart from chicken stock that I always have to use up, think of creative ways to use up. I also like my beef pho, all right? This Vietnamese beef soup. So I actually have, next to that, I've got in my pressure cooker over there in the far corner, you can't see it. That's actually got some leftover pho stock in it, okay? Pho soup. And pho is made from beef bones, all right? And that was another creative way to use up some of my chicken stock as well. So I basically bought like a bag of beef bones, chuck bones, for about $6, $7, $6 maybe, all right? And they've got a little bit of meat in them, and I threw in some diced steak as well, which wasn't great because like the diced steak is quite lean, okay? Usually like pho you can actually thinly slice the meat, but this was actually like big chunks of like lean steak, so I'm not a huge fan of the steak that I've thrown in. But also I then added some of that chicken stock concentrate, and I pressure cooked it with some seasoning. I added like a bit of cinnamon, a bit of star anise, and just, you know, my usual white pepper, chicken powder. I think that's all I added in it. Oh, garlic, lots of garlic, and I add a little bit of fresh onion as well, okay? Just pressure cooked it for like, you know, 35 minutes or whatever, and that gives me like a beautiful first stock, okay? But after days of having like beef soup, I'm kind of sick of it, so I'm going to use some of it. So this particular soup is actually going to have have both some extra chicken stock, but also some of that beef soup that I made up for my pho noodles. Okay, pho noodles minus noodles, because remember, low carb. So I've been eating like Vietnamese pho with lots of bean sprouts and with chunks of beef, and what else? That's about it. What did I put in it? Yeah, for the last few days. So essentially just skip the noodles kind of deal. But now, like I said, you know, I'm down towards the last few bowls of pho in that pot that I want to use up to make soto. Soto is basically like I said, it's like you know, there are a couple of versions of it, and the one that I like, that I remember, like there's this Malay soup kambing, which I used to sell at my restaurant. Soup kambing literally means goat stew or goat soup. It's more stewy than soupy. It's not like a broth. It had like, I put like some coconut cream in it, so it's a little bit creamy, and I really like that. But that's fairly labor intensive in the sense that there are a lot of ingredients that go into it. So what I'm making today is going to replicate that to some extent. But traditionally, Indonesian soto, certainly the versions I've come across, don't actually have coconut milk in it. Okay, but we'll see how it turns out. All right, we'll see. Like once we add the spices and fry it up, and then turn it into a soup, we'll see like whether it could use a little bit of a creamy boost by adding some coconut cream in it. Okay, so that's why I'm not calling it soto per se. But traditionally, soto is served with compressed rice, right? Compressed rice squares. This is what we in Malaysia usually eat with our satay sticks. And this is looking better. Satay sticks in Malaysia, we serve with these cold rice parcels that are like squares, and they're cut into like cubes, right? So they look quite interesting. But in Indonesia, they have it with soto. Soto, like I said, in the soup. Okay, so you have like these cubes of compressed rice in the soup. But we're gonna skip that again because low carb, right? So and you could have tofu in it. I'm gonna throw in the mushrooms. Okay, so we're going a lot of veggies in this deal. But obviously, once you've got the soup nailed down, you can do whatever you want with it. You can, you know, you can throw some noodles in it if you want, if you're not on this low carb bench that I'm on. Okay, yeah, and like I said, you know, don't forget this Wednesday is going to be the giveaway for the Ziegler and Brown barbecue. It's valued at Australian $749. Okay, so make sure you follow me on Twitch, and you need to tune in on my Wednesday broadcast, which is at 5 p.m. Sydney time. And some point during the broadcast we'll run a draw. You don't actually have to do anything, you just have to be around when I run the broadcast. All right, and actually the broadcast, the tool that I use to pick the winner only picks from my Twitch audience. Okay, so everyone watches it from everywhere, but if you want to be in the running, if you want your name to go into the draw, you need to be a Twitch follower and be watching me from Twitch, and your name will automatically go on the draw, and it'll be randomly like it'll be a random roll of the dice online, and then if you win, you get a barbecue unit just in time for Christmas. Okay, here you go. So I'm just kind of like trashing these mushrooms that otherwise get thrown out anyway. Okay. And let's just cut them in half. I know they look manky, but look, this is gonna be my lunch / dinner. I don't know if you can hear the rain outside, but hopefully it rains and then it clears up for next weekend. Alright, I'm going to throw in some tofu. These are tofu puffs. Right, this is not traditionally the kind of tofu you would put in soto. Tofu puff is puffy, as in because it's been deep fried. So it's very light and porous. Okay, but this is the kind of tofu you would put in a laksa. It's not the kind of tofu you would put in a soto. But you can, look, you know, like I said, we're going low carb, and this is the only tofu I have sitting around. So that's what I'm going to use. This is what we call, in Chinese, we call it tofu pop. Okay, the hard tofu we call tau kwa. And tau kwa, like I said, they're generally not interchangeable. Okay, so because the texture is completely different, and yeah, the feel and all that is completely different. But we're just gonna go for it. And I dug up some cabbage. These are slices of cabbage. If you watched one of my broadcasts last week, my social eating broadcast last week, where I bought some food back from Cabramatta, postcode 2166. I bought some food back from Cabramatta, and one of them was this Laotian shredded papaya salad, raw papaya salad, and they always serve it with some cabbage, right? Sometimes they give you a whole veg of cabbage, and this time they gave me like just pieces of cabbage, so I might as well use it up. I'm going to throw that in. And then I've got these Chinese greens here. I know they look manky. This is actually a couple of weeks old. They were sitting in my fridge downstairs in my garage here. Alright, so these are just your typical choy sum, okay, and I'm just going to throw some in. If you've never handled choy sum before, they would have looked green when I first bought them, but the yellow leaves after a couple of weeks in my fridge, they just need to be broken off and thrown out, right? Here you go. Rasher, would you rather eat the same meal every day or never use social media again? Never use social media again. I'm not as addicted to social media as you would expect me to be, you know. In fact, a lot of the things I do on social media, I do on autopilot. Like, I hate sharing things on social media. That's why you see a lot of, I'll share 6 times a day on social media for each of my social media platforms, of like pictures of food or recipes and that sort of stuff. But these are all done on autopilot, right? I write a blog post, I throw it on a social media, what do you call it, sharing thingo, and it automatically shares it out for me forever. All right, on a it throws it into a rotational loop. So I've actually got like I've got several thousand blog posts all queued up in this social media sharing platform, right? That just goes on rotation, sharing them across all my platforms: LinkedIn, Facebook, like my 3 Facebook accounts, and Twitter and whatever. Okay, it doesn't work for Google Plus, so I do have to manually share in Google Plus, which I find such a terrible pain. But yeah, look, I could very easily live without social media. Here we go. Okay, this is actually quite like gritty. Okay, but so I'm just gonna hop round the back and just rinse this out. Okay, just give me a second. I shall be back. Eric, hey, how you doing? Banana. So what does everyone else think? Would you rather eat the same meal every day or never use social media again? Alright, let me throw. I'm still contemplating the mushrooms, alright, because they're so manky, they might actually, yeah. Look, I'm gonna boil them separate to the soup later on because I don't want the soup to turn black. What's for dinner? Hey Bob, how you doing? I am making Indonesian soup because I'm going low carb, so everything is just heating up in a moment. Now I'm gonna actually cut up some onion, and I'll show you the spices I'm going to use. Right? I haven't used these before, by the way. This isn't something like when I make my spicy lamb soup. I actually make the spice combinations myself. Okay, but this is being the lazy way of doing it. This is called soup soto. Literally means soto soup. Okay, soto, like I say, is Indonesian, but also you get it in like southern Malaysia as well, in Johor. Because Malaysia and Indonesia, they're part of what's called Nusantara. Okay, there's like the Spice Islands archipelago. Okay, so at some point they all used to be like pretty much, you know, culturally they're very similar, right? Soto rempah means spice paste powder, spice powder mix. Okay, she's gonna cry now. because of the onions. No way. Okay, I'll read out the ingredients for you. If you can't find these, I always tell you guys, I don't know, I haven't made curries for a couple of weeks now, a few weeks now, I just realized. But when you go to a grocery store, an Asian grocery store that's fairly well stocked, right? When you look for curry powder, the ones from Malaysia will not just say curry powder, all right? They are usually like divided into a number of different categories. Most generally, like it will say like a meat curry powder, fish curry powder, and rendang curry powder, all right? If it's an even better stocked grocery store, you might find that beyond that, they will then have other nuances as well. Okay, they might have kurma curry powder. And in this case, with this brand, Mak Siti, which is quite well regarded in Malaysia, Mak Siti. Mak means moms, all right? Siti is just a name like Siti, Madam Siti or something like that, right? With this particular brand, they have Soto curry powder. Well, Soto spice mix, technically. And this is another brand. This is called Faiza, okay? And this one says rempah soup, which means soup spice paste, okay? Now, as far as the differences between the two of them, let me just have a quick look of the list of ingredients. Where are my glasses? Okay, let's have a look. Okay, so the soup soto, it says it's got cinnamon, lada hitam, black pepper, lada putih, cardamom, like white pepper, star anise, rempah ratus is just like a combination of different spices. Royal stevia, I don't know what it is, and allspice, okay? Whereas this one, the soup spice mix, it has coriander, cumin, white pepper, cardamom, cloves, star anise. Okay, so no cinnamon, even though there's a picture of cinnamon in here. But the way you use it, I'll just read out the instructions, okay, between the two of them. All right, for the soup powder, okay, literally this one has in English, it says soup powder. It says, okay, heat the oil in the pan and fry blended ingredients, which are 6 shallots, 3 garlic, and 2 centimeters of ginger until fragrant. Okay, so you actually have to add stuff to it. It's like it's as though you're making a regular curry, but you're adding, like basically you're adding onion, garlic, and in this case ginger. Those are the 3 key ingredients. Every time you see me make curry, I always have onion and garlic, and usually I have ginger in it as well. Okay, and then you heat the oil and you fry it until it's fragrant, and you add water, you add chicken, and you add potatoes. Okay, and then you cook it, and then you add a tablespoon of this soup powder, and you simmer, add salt, and there you go. And then garnish it with shallots, fried shallots, and celery, or actually technically what do you call it, coriander. Okay, so that's it, right? It's like making a curry, but no coconut milk in this, remember? Okay, as for the soto, I'm gonna have to translate this as I go. Okay, it says boil the chicken. When it's cooked, take it out, let it cool, and then shred the meat. And it says heat the oil, fry the onion, garlic, ginger, again the 3 key ingredients, until it's aromatic. Add water or water from the chicken, it says, from boiling the chicken. Add a packet of this, okay, and then add the chicken back in there with tauge, which is bean sprouts, tofu, and the compressed rice, and then simmer for 10 minutes on low heat. Okay, sounds a bit strange because I don't generally want the bean sprouts to be simmering for 10 minutes. And then add salt to season, and then garnish with egg, with coriander, with onion, presumably like crispy fried onion, and it says lime, all right, and also fresh onion as well. Okay, so there you go. So we're gonna boil an egg for this, but we're not going to use the shredded chicken. I don't have chicken, but I am going to actually use maybe some shredded beef, because remember I said I've got some chunks of beef from that beef soup that I'm not a huge fan of because they're a bit dry, but once they're shredded, maybe they'll work in this. Okay, let's do this. Here we go. Let me go and have a dig around in my fridge for the ginger. I know I've got some. I hope it's still okay. Give me a second. Okay, so I've got like the whole onion. I've got a manky half onion here. I've got some ginger, and I've got my fresh garlic over here. So let's peel the onion, and then we'll mince it all up. And as far as how much, the instructions will tell you how much, but I don't follow the instructions. You kind of know, if you've been doing this your whole life, you don't go measuring things, okay? But hopefully by watching my videos, watching my live kitchen, you might get a feel for how to do this yourself. Otherwise, in any case, go look up my website anyway. I'll have the recipes there. I know I'm a little bit behind. I actually posted 2 new recipes on my blog last night, but I'm still playing catch up. So I'm not even up to all the low carb recipes yet that I've been live streaming over the last 3 weeks or so. But I do plan to get on top of everything, because I am actually going to Southeast Asia in about just over 4 weeks, guys. So, and I'm going to be filming indie style, all right? So not just your average travel video, but I'm going to be filming it myself indie style. And the project is going to be called Walk Around Asia. Walk spelled W-O-K. Is that clever or what? Walk Around Asia. So it's going to have food and whatnot, and it'll have travel related stuff. Walk Around Asia. So keep an eye out for that. Here you go. Let me know if you got any other questions and what you've been up to. So this is my thermo cook, right? And I'm using it as a food processor, although it does actually cook for you as well if you want. So you can actually, after you process this, you can add oil in here, and then set the blade speed, set the temperature, set the time, and let it basically stir everything for you. I really should technically like put the ginger in first, because the ginger is a little bit tougher, right, than the onion and the garlic, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so let's blitz this to a puree. Whoa. So it goes to show how quickly that thing boils, because that soup, that big block, icing like that big frozen block has kind of like overflowed and spilled all over. So give me a second while I clean that up a little bit. That's one way to use up my leftover soup, I guess. So this is the stock. It's completely melted now. I'll clean up the rest of it later on. All right, so let's move this away and let's blitz this. Okay. So that's what we call I always call this the rumba. It's the rumba if it's got the spice paste in it as well, okay? So I'm going to actually open both packs and see how they smell, all right? And then decide if I'm going to use, which one I'm going to use. And also maybe I might mix a bit of both of them. All right, but this, like, they're both actually from Malaysia, these two different brands of spices, okay? This one specifically says Soto, which is the Indonesian slash Southern Malaysian spicy soup. Whereas this one just says soup powder, okay? So it's got a more generic use for it. Let's just put this up a bit more. Okay. And the other thing I want to show you guys, right? This is something that I sometimes buy. It's not cheap, this pack of, these are fish balls, okay? You see me make fish balls all the time. This is a pack of frozen fish balls. This is only like 500 grams, all right? And this, for 500 grams, this costs $15. And you know why it costs so much? This is what it looks like, okay? Here you go, right? And if you cut it down the middle, it's actually got fish roe in the middle. Okay, that's why it's expensive for $15. But generally, if you buy frozen fish balls, okay, they don't taste very fishy at all. Like, as though there's so many other stuff that go into it that you know, that makes it like a little bit compromised. Okay, but it's up to you. If you like to, if you want to keep things simple, you can like just buy a pack of this and keep it in your freezer, right? And every time you have like soupy noodles or whatever, toss a few into the water that you're going to use to simmer the noodles and vegetables and tofu and egg and whatnot, sort of thing, right? And then like strain it and then throw it into the soup, and that just kind of like gives it like a little bit of a extra, I guess, make it a little bit more interesting. There you go. Whoops, there's actually a sticker in there. I think that's from the onion. Okay, here you go. So don't forget, if you're Australian, guys, this Wednesday, 5 p.m, we're going to do a draw for the second of the Ziegler and Brown barbecue units. Somebody, one of my lucky followers, has already won one of them. This was a week ago, so congratulations. And let me try and figure out, let me have a quick look at my stove. All right, I think I'm just trying to figure out which unit to use, because I forgot to grab more gas canisters from downstairs. I've got more gas, but I didn't bring it up, and I don't have much left in the one that I've got up here, so I might use an electric. Damn. The electric fry pan is a little bit wide. Okay, doesn't matter, let's do it anyway. So what we're going to do, we're going to fry the spice paste in this big giant like frying pan from Sunbeam, Australia. Okay, let's turn it around. And I'm going to grab some oil in a minute, so we can get this started in the meantime. Turn it on. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to fry this onion, garlic and ginger mixture with some oil, but because the onion has quite a lot of moisture content in it, I'm going to actually dry fry it first and then add the oil, okay? Otherwise it'll start spitting and it just gets everything really messy. anyone here active on Discord? Not necessarily my Discord server, but anywhere else? Because this morning on this other Discord server that I'm a member of, they got hit by a troll attack. And I'm thinking it's just a matter of time before it happens to me. What happened was like, I think someone created a bunch of fake accounts and started like tagging everyone and saying some really nasty stuff. Because that was a Christian server. Everyone jokes about my Discord server being a Christian server, but this particular Discord server was an actual Christian server where, you know, where they talk about like the Bible, right? So someone said really like blasphemous stuff there and just tagged everyone, okay? And they just literally 248 tags, okay? 248 like separate messages before someone got on top of things and got them banned. But it's hard to ban just the one person, hard to ban a multitude of accounts, all right? When they're hitting you like so quickly, rapid fire. I've just quickly muted that channel in the end just to stop getting all these crazy beeps on my phone. But yeah, if you've got any ideas on how to actually prevent trolls, right, let me know. I'll be interested to hear. Hi Catherine. Hey Rahul. Alright, so you can hear the little sizzle, which means there's still a bit of moisture in it. I'm gonna go and grab some oil in the meantime, alright? And you know what, I'm gonna throw this in now. Let me just cut this open. Again, these spices, right, these spice packs you should be able to find at your well-stocked Asian grocery store. This is what it looks like. Okay. But if you don't have them, you've heard me read out the ingredients. Basically a mixture of like a number of different spices. You can add them, you know, you can combine those spices yourself individually, or you can actually, let's throw the oil in now. Look, you can use like a mild curry powder, okay? And throw like, just be very light-handed in it, with it. Because usually curry powders will be more intense in flavor. So I'm just putting the oil in now. So use a mild curry powder and just add like, you know, half the amount you otherwise would be adding of these ones, okay? Remember with these with these spice mixtures, they're both for soups, okay? Spicy soups. Okay, they smell very different. Okay. Okay. I'm not much of a fan of either of them. Okay, this one has a strong fennel smell. Does it say fennel? It doesn't say fennel. Okay. Coriander. Cardamom, cloves. Okay, the cloves. Okay, I'm not a huge fan of like a strong clove smell. But this one, nonetheless, you're only meant to use like 1 tablespoon, okay? This one you're meant to use a whole packet. Okay. So let's go with this, okay? So that's the Soto spice mix. So essentially it's really just like a type of curry powder mix, okay? So it doesn't have the chili, okay? You notice the ingredients didn't contain chili. That's why it looks like a pale yellowish color. And you want to fry it up till they always say till it's aromatic or till the oil separates, but essentially what I want to achieve is to get the onion to brown up a bit, okay? oil to it. So another thing you can add to this, right? I did this one time in this cook-off, a charity cook-off. I made my lamb soup, right, soup kambing, but I separately fried up some keropok, which is prawn crackers, all right? So they expand into these crackers, but then I threw the crackers into a blender and blitzed it till it's like almost like a granular powdery form, and then like spoon that onto the soup to serve it up with. Okay, I'm not doing that today because again, low carb, all right? But that's one way you can play around with these soups, all right, to make them interesting. And since I lost half the soup when it overflowed, I probably will use up the rest of it. Okay, you can see the scummy bits, but I'm not going to worry too much about it. If I were actually doing this properly for like my business, I might skim it out. Okay, but this is just for personal consumption, and there's nothing wrong with it except the aesthetics. So I'm just going to leave it in. So I'm going to grab some more water because remember, this is actually concentrated chicken soup. And I'm going to top it up, and I'm going to add some of the beef bits into it as well. Okay, so just move this away. Alright, so I don't know if you can tell, but the oil is separating now. Okay, so this is pretty much done. The aroma is actually quite strong. Okay. But this is actually meant to be enough for, let me have a read. How much do they say? Both of them are the same, but I think they say 6 cups of water. It's like 1.5 liters of water, so that should be alright. Okay, let's just turn this off. And what I'm going to do, because like I said, this is very concentrated, I'm going to actually transfer some of that into my beef stock, my beef soup. Okay, so this is my pho soup thing, okay, that I've got a bit of beef left in. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to dish out the beef meat that I'm going to use for the soup, but I'm going to retain some of this for pho still, okay? So let's get going with this. First I'm going to fish out the chunks of meat, and I'm going to take out some of the soup for use in this, and I'm going to actually like add some more soup from here, but then what's left of the soup here I'm going to add to top up this beef soup. You don't have to do all this obviously, but this is for my personal consumption. So what I'm trying to do is actually like just pull out, like these are the chunks of like beef fillets I said I threw into the soup, which I find a little bit too lean, eaten like in chunks like this. So I'm going to take them out and shred them for this next dish. I don't even know if there's that much of it left, frankly. So let's get this ladle is more than 1 cup, by the way. Well, maybe actually it is 1 cup. Okay, that's the beef portion of it. I'm gonna add some water, so about 1 ladle of beef soup, 2 ladles of water, and 3 ladles of chicken stock here. Okay, that'll give us about 6 cups. Just mix it up. Okay, let's add some seasoning. And I'm actually going to, instead of just salt, like I said, I told you guys, right, like it's not often popular to mention like chicken powder, even in Malaysian recipes sort of thing, but like it just, that's why the ingredients, like the instructions just say to put a bit of salt for seasoning. I put some chicken powder instead, because sometimes I find salt to be a little bit too sharp in flavor. Alright, so this is chicken powder. Let's taste and see what it tastes like. Alright, it's pretty good. I'll add a little bit more chicken powder. I always gotta bring this back up to a simmer, alright? Where is it? Here you go. Where are my greens? Let's move this away. Okay, so if you're lazy, you can actually throw in like all the like the veggies and all that in here. I like to keep like this pretty like, you know, unaffected by the ingredients I'm going to be eating it with. So I prefer to actually simmer the veggies in a separate pan, right? So let me grab the kettle. Grab an egg. Move this over here a little bit. Okay, so add some water in here. So this is hot water, which isn't great for boiling eggs because you really should need cold water to boil an egg. Okay, but let's hope it doesn't crack. I'm using hot water because I don't want to use up too much gas, because remember I'm limited in my, I've got very little gas left in this little canister. Alright, this one, like I said, this is quite a bit too strong flavored for me. I'm not going to use it. Okay, let's try this again. It's nice. It's a little bit sharp, and I don't know whether it's from the chicken stock concentrate. I'd be inclined to actually just put a pinch of sugar in it, just to kind of like cut through the sharpness. And like I said, if you like, you can actually throw in a bit of coconut milk to make it richer and creamier. Alright. I don't have any pre-opened packs. Oh, you know what? Maybe I do. I do. Let's turn this down a little. this here, which is powdered coconut milk. Okay, so powdered coconut milk. Let's sprinkle this in. Okay, it's actually, because I opened it yesterday, it's actually already become lumpy. What I can do is actually throw this back into the blender and just blitz this again. Alright, if it doesn't blend properly. So this just makes it more substantial. Okay, so this water is boiling. And then throw in the tofu puffs. Again, this isn't the norm, alright? You don't usually put tofu puffs into something like this. Just got my greens here, the mushrooms and the choysum. And I do have bean sprouts, but I think it might be too much. Okay, so let's just cover this and simmer this for a couple more minutes. And in the meantime, I'm actually going to transfer this, I think. Let's just turn it up and let it simmer a little bit. Oh look, I've got my cabbage as well, so let's throw the cabbage in. Hit me up if you got any questions, yeah, and or otherwise just let me know what your weekend was like. I find my Monday live streams lately to be very very muted. Yeah. Alright, just squash this up a little bit. Okay, so like I said, don't worry about the lumpy bits. If you've got a blender, you can just blend them at the end, alright? And they're only lumpy because I use this packet of coconut powder. How this is looking. Okay, let's turn this off. I'm going to keep this covered because of the egg. But yeah, you can add some, you know, if you're not going the low carb route, you can add some like compressed rice, which you can actually buy these sachets of rice in a bag, right? And boil them. And then like you cut open the bag at the end of it, you'll get like these rice squares, compressed rice squares. Otherwise, it's a little bit complicated to make yourself, okay? So, or look, it's easier just to throw in some noodles, okay? So this could be a noodly soup as well. Let's turn this down. So this is done. So these are the chunks of beef I pulled out from my beef soup and just kind of like shred it up. Okay, I'm gonna serve the soup with it. Alright, I don't have any coriander for garnish, but let me have a look in my fridge for some spring onion. Okay, so it's like bits of beef. There you go. So spring onion, and I've got a chili here as well that I'm gonna just slice up. Right. Move the stove away. And if you're not doing huge amounts of like chilies or whatever, you just use a pair of scissors to cut up like your spring onion and your chili. So let's do that. Oh yeah, like 2 Saturday nights ago, somebody won the last of my Rode microphones, the giveaways, and then a couple of days later, one of my moderators pointed out to me that this person wasn't actually a follower of mine. All right, so I messaged him and say, "Are you actually a follower, or did you just like follow me for 5 minutes just to win the prize and then like unfollow me or something like that?" They never responded. I chased them up twice, they didn't respond. So I put it out to my Twitch community, and they agreed universally that I should just do a draw again. So somebody else has won that. So congratulations to Colin of Umaina for winning this $80 Rode microphone. But yeah, guys, I'm always doing giveaways on my live broadcasts, but the deal is that you qualify if you are one of my followers. If you're not, like, then there was a mistake somewhere. All you have to do is just click follow. But if I can't reach you to communicate with you otherwise, then your name goes back in the draw. The prize goes back in the draw. Okay, so let's do this. Let's take out the egg. And I'm just gonna hop in the kitchen and just cool it down and peel it, right? Back in a sec. Hey Nissan, how you doing? Okay, so this is the egg. I'm just gonna break it up. I'm not gonna try and like make it all pretty, right? But yeah, any of you wants to be in the running for this Wednesday's draw for a barbecue, courtesy of Ziegler and Brown, Australia. Make sure you follow me on Twitch between now and then, and tune in on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Sydney time, all right? So my Twitch URL is twitch.tv/JackieMFood. Okay, that's my egg. You can see it, right? Let's throw in some of the greens. I'm not going to throw too much in because this is going to just overflow. All right. Mushrooms. Okay. So a bowl of veggies. And that's my soup. Okay, so it's quite rich, quite thick. Thanks in part to the coconut milk I added. You want to thin it down, you can add a bit of water to this. Okay. Just sprinkle them chili, some spring onion. Did you give away all the speakers already? found a speaker before? I think I have one more speaker. I'm holding on to it for a few more weeks until the last person who won the speaker confirms they've received theirs. Then I have one spare to give away. And that's actually what I'm doing with the Rode microphone as well. So technically I actually have one in the back room. I'm very, hey Priscilla, how you doing? Well, there you go. Okay. So this almost looks like a glorified, like a, it looks like a runny curry or a very yellow laksa. All right. So this is like the Indonesian Soto, traditionally served with compressed rice and vegetables and some meat. Oh, look, I forgot about the meat. Okay. So here you go. So there's my low carb version, doesn't have the compressed rice, but instead it's got tofu puffs, because that's all I've got in my fridge. You can use hard tofu, which would actually be probably more traditional. And got a boiled egg, got lots of veggies. See, a lot of the time it's not hard to go low carb with Malaysian. I mean, like, you know, steamed rice is a problem, because I haven't found a good substitute for steamed rice yet. Okay, let's try this. Looks good. Okay. Okay, tastes good. It's a little bit salty because I always get carried away with the damn, like I mean, oh, this tastes a little bit bland. Let's throw in more chicken powder in here. And of course, you know, famous last words. Let's throw a little bit more of the soup stock in here, right? Okay, here you go. Let's try it. Okay, this tastes good, all right? So this is my first time using the Mak City Soto. Do I have another pack? Let me have a look. All right, so this is me giving a plug to Malaysian products, right? I'm not getting sponsored for any of these. I'm just pointing out like the variety of like curry powders you can get. So you've seen the usual, like I tend to use the meat curry powder a lot, right? And I always tell you guys, look, generally there'll be like a fish curry powder, meat curry powder, and a rendang curry powder. So this is an example of a rendang curry powder, all right? So the brand is Faiza. This is the soup mix, also from Faiza, soup powder, all right? This is the soup soto from Mak City that I was just using in this latest recipe, my first time using it. This is korma curry powder, okay? Korma curry powder. Korma is actually a mild curry, and I'm told when you make martabak, when I make martabak, I make my own like curry mixture with it, okay? But apparently, traditionally, when they make martabak filling, the mincemeat filling, they use korma curry powder mix in the, you know, to fry up the meat with, okay? So that's something to keep in mind next time you want to attempt making martabak, okay? Which is the filled flatbread with mincemeat, okay, that you've seen me do before. So rumpak rumah is what you sometimes use for that. This is just chili powder, Malaysian chili powder, which is actually a lot milder than any Thai chili powder you might see out in the market. Thai or Indonesian chilies, for whatever reason. The Thais and the Indonesians and the Vietnamese even can handle a lot more heat than we Malaysians, okay? So this chili powder I've tried before is actually quite mild, which is great. And this is a fish curry powder, all right? So literally it will say fish curry powder. And remember, I've told you guys before, just because it says fish curry powder, it doesn't mean that it actually contains any seafood in there, okay? And nor does it mean you can only use it in seafood, all right? Because I've used this in a lamb curry before, which was actually one of my best sellers at my restaurant. So I do have people, like when I sell like a seafood curry paste, which is actually vegetarian, people think it contains seafood and they say, oh, we're allergic, so we won't take it, sort of thing, and you don't want to push a point, so you don't give it to them. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. So this is my stream for Monday. Don't forget, if you are in Australia, you're in with a chance to win a Ziegler and Brown barbecue unit, complete with like the trolley and all that, valued at $749. If you tune in this coming Wednesday at 5 p.m. Sydney time. And also make sure you follow me on Twitch as well, all right? Twitch.tv/JackieMFood. What date are we? So Captain Industry, how you doing? Captain Industry. Okay, 4th. Okay, by the 6th of somebody's birthday is today. I'm trying to remember whose birthday is the 4th of December. Damn, did I miss someone's birthday? 6th of December, 2017, all right, because it's going out on YouTube, and 5 years, I don't want people 5 years later asking when's the draw for the barbecue. 6th of December 2017, 5 p.m. Sydney, Australia time is my next live stream. That's when I'm going to do the draw for the second and final Ziegler and Brown barbecue unit valued at Australian $749. The criteria are that you follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/JackieMFood, and you live in Australia. And thirdly, that you tune in, okay? Because we do the draw, you don't actually have to do anything, because the software I use to do the draw is very clever. It picks up names from people who are watching me on Twitch, right? And once your name is picked, right, you have 60 seconds to speak up and tell me, yes, I'm here, okay? Because sometimes people cheat and they let it run all day and then they go away and do other things, all right? So that's not fair on those who are actually paying attention. So every time we do a draw, you know, invariably there'll be someone not paying attention, and after 60 seconds, you know, we do a redraw and then somebody else wins, okay? I'm not here. Okay, all right, Captain Industry. Colto's thinking, thanks for following. I think it might be. All right, so there you go. And like I said, technically, well, in principle, I've given away all my Rode microphones. But technically I do still have one in the back room because I want to hold out and make sure that everyone's happy, everyone's got all their prizes, because I'm constantly sending things out, and then every now and then 5 weeks later someone says, oh, I didn't receive that, sort of thing. All right, but like, stick around and keep watching my live streams. You may be in a chance to win that. Likewise with the Lenovo mini speaker as well, which is this one over here, courtesy of Lenovo Australia, New Zealand. All right, so I had 10 of these to give away. I technically have one more. All right, so for those of you who have been holding out for that, I know a lot of you have won a lot of different prizes, but you know, I know some people hold out for certain things and never win them. And congratulations to the 4 winners of the what do you call it, the Satay Boys giveaways, right? They're being shipped out, I believe, this week, and you should get them soon. These are all people first 3 winners were based in the USA, which will have cost my sponsors over $100 in shipping alone, so I feel really bad for them. But congratulations to you guys. And the 4th one I actually had to restrict to someone in Australia because it just wasn't fair for the sponsors to be spending hundreds of dollars on shipping, all right? Because they were generous enough to offer it to everyone. I just want the food. Hey, Captain, if you live around here, if you live around here, drop by and let me know when you want to drop by. I've always got plenty of food to give away. All right, guys, so this was my first attempt at Indonesian Soto. All right, I have made variations of this before, just not this specific recipe. And this is the low carb version because it does not contain the compressed rice chunks in it, okay? Again, like I said, you can eat this with rice, you can eat this with noodles. All I've got in here is the boiled egg, the shredded beef, all right? More traditionally, Soto is actually served with chicken, all right? But I've got some beef from my my batch of beef soup, so I threw in some shredded beef. Otherwise, you can throw in shredded chicken, and then it's got like tofu, it's got like greens and all that sort of stuff. So this is a huge serve over here. All right, thanks so much guys for sticking around, and I will see you Wednesday 5 p.m. Sydney time next. All right, so this is going to be a fun one because we're going to do the big draw, and congratulations to everyone who's won everything else before. So all right, thanks again, ciao.